Hello and welcome to Hunter Killer 1440's How to Fix Man of Steel. I'm your host Chris Garner from the YouTube channel Cinema Savvy, back with another collaboration video. Following the How to Fix Ghostbusters 2016 video, I was also asked by Hunter Killer if I'd be interested in lending my voice, and as Superman is a character that I've held dear for many years of my life, I've been inspired by, I leapt at the chance to return for another collaboration. Once again, these alterations and changes are all of Hunter Killer's own mind, and I am merely providing my own voice for the narration. I personally had many problems with Zack Snyder's Man of Steel film, so I'm glad that I can help voice a much more focused idea for the movie. So with all that being said, let's get on with the video. Kal-El, known as Clark Kent, has been travelling across the world trying to discover himself and ultimately asking himself the question as to why he was sent to Earth as an infant. As he searches for himself, he still feels empty, confused and lost. Along the way he has encountered many places and people who are experiencing great hardships, but has always noticed an unwavering sense of human kindness and compassion wherever he goes. Kal-El is like a hopeful, plucky yet naive person from the 1940s inserted into the 2010s, where society has turned much more cynical and bitter, yet allowing for a much more realistic and contemporary setting to flesh out this new take on the character of Superman. Kal-El remembers his younger self, where he was an insecure child. His mother tries to raise his confidence through practicing self-assured postures, but in reality, it's not truly him. Kal-El is self-doubting of his powers, fearing he could destroy everything around him, harming the ones he loves the most. In essence, Kal's real persona is the weak and feeble Clark Kent, while the invincible exterior is purely just the mask. Kal-El's path to adapt into the Earth's atmosphere was long and arduous, with his mother and father helping him to focus and hone his abilities to cope with his super senses. To assuage many criticisms and plot holes that have been raised regarding Clark's disguise over merely wearing glasses, this version of the film also provides an explanation and origin for them to help ground it in the much more realistic tone. They are made out of the lenses of the alien pod that carried him to Earth. Clark realises that with these lenses, his eyes are able to give out hypnotic waves to make people see that he looks frail and weak, which allows him to blend in much more effectively. As the Kent family is driving to the city, they become stuck in traffic. Kal-El has an argument with his father, Jonathan Kent, on whether he should use his powers in public or not. Jonathan argues that he shouldn't use his powers in front of anyone, under any circumstances, and is being overprotective. Kal-El at first is very rebellious, but finally comes round to his father's line of thinking after Jonathan asks him a number of moral questions relating to the responsibility of hiding his capabilities. If Kal-El chooses to exercise his powers, he will be obligated to use his powers not just for select people in his life, but for the entire human race. Can Kal-El give up his life and family to commit to a life like that? The argument is halted, however, when a tornado storm hits. The family escapes, but Jonathan returns to rescue the family dog. Jonathan saves his dog but twists his ankle in the process. Limping, Jonathan is unable to get away from the tornado. Jonathan sees Kal-El about to use his powers to save him, but raises his hand to stop his son from revealing his identity. Disobeying his father for the first time, Kal-El is able to save his father from the tornado with super running speed, without anyone in the crowd seeing him due to the chaos of the storm. After fleeing to a safe distance from the storm on foot, the sudden stress of the situation triggers Jonathan's heart attack. Even though Kal-El saves Jonathan from the tornado, he also indirectly kills Jonathan. With all those powers, he still can't save his father. Kal-El is not all-powerful. Death is inevitable. His father's last words are apologising to his adopted son, saying that he has been an overprotective father and too selfish to share his son's gifts with the world. He tells Kal-El to do what he feels is right. At this point, Kal-El is at his lowest low. He is conflicted on deciding whether his powers are far too dangerous to save people, or if they can be used for the greater good. A few years pass and Kal-El's journey brings him to the Arctic. The crystal, carried by Kal-El, is suddenly activated and a hologram of a man is displayed. The alien man's hologram explains to Kal-El he is Jor-El, his father, who has placed his consciousness inside the crystal. Jor-El continues to tell Kal-El of his origins. Kal-El is from Krypton, and Jor-El shows him the powers of the crystal by building the Fortress of Solitude from it. The High Council doesn't believe Jor-El's warning. On the last day of the War of Krypton, the Brainiac fleet surrounding Krypton launched what was said to be the biggest attack ever on the planet. The 10 million Brainiac ships subject Krypton to a massive orbital bombardment and deploys numerous Brainiac drones to invade the surface. Brainiac's forces capture Kandor City, then lay siege to the capital itself. However, they are unable to break through the capital's defences. Jor-El tries to appeal to the Kryptonian High Council on Krypton's possible destruction from Brainiac's robot army and urges them to tell the civilians to evacuate the planet. After racing home as the planet is starting to implode, Jor-El plans to launch an escape pod to Mars in order to ferry him and his wife Lara to safety. He even builds a spaceship and his prototype wormhole portal for their departure. But the ship was damaged during a quake before Jor-El could fix the ship. Jor-el puts their son, Kal-El, in the only remaining escape pod instead with a crystal, hoping the way of Kryptonians will live on through his son. The wormhole malfunctions and scrambles the coordinates, which sends his infant son to Earth instead of Mars. During Krypton's destruction, civilians are seen helping each other to the last second and scrambling for survival. This was an element that was greatly lacking from the original Man of Steel film, and this allows us to see a much more populated Krypton before its inevitable destruction. Walking down the corridors of the Fortress of Solitude, Kal-El finds the Superman suit. Jor-el explains the suit is to represent hope and peace, worn by a chosen member, almost like the Citizen of the Year. It's culturally important, especially during special Kryptonian ceremonies to promote serenity and hope. Any Kryptonian chosen to wear this is considered an honour. Jor-el also explains to Kal that his powers are due to Earth's yellow sun, which gives Kryptonians superpowers. Krypton's solar system has a red sun. Its radiation does not give him the powers. Apparently there is a red sun radiation emitter, which can strip Kal-El of his powers. Jor-el tells Kal-El that he can use it and become mortal like humans. Throughout the entire movie, Kal-El does not want his powers, but through the rousing speech of Jor-el on Hope, Kal-El is stirred but fears his powers could do more damage than good. He chooses to keep his powers, however, trying to find a way to inspire others. Back in modern day, during a news reporter job interview, Kal-El mentions he has taken several different jobs, hoping to inspire others. Community service worker, a teacher, and marketing, etc. Kal-El, as Clark Kent, says the best way to inspire hope to others will be through his writings. Afterwards, he is hired at the Daily Planet. While working as a reporter, there is a montage of the beauty of humanity that Kal-El witnesses. Firemen saving a family from a fire, police officers preventing a car accident, and the military building shelters for the poor. Finally, Kal-El decides it is time to don the Superman suit and inspire others, just as the people of Earth have inspired him. After that, there are a lot of reports of mysterious miracles of a red and blue blurred figure saving people. Was it a guardian angel, science phenomena, hand of God, or was it the Superman? Even though the world he is living in is quite cynical, miracles appearing everywhere inspires people to be more hopeful and do good. For a few examples, a stingy businessman donates generous amounts of money to charity after being saved by Superman, a bully starts to work at a soup kitchen, and even some criminals apprehended by Superman decide to turn themselves in and regret their actions after talking to the Man of Steel himself. While Kal-El starts working at the Daily Planet, an alien is released from a wormhole generated by government scientist Milton Fine. He has been collecting remnants and artifacts from an ancient and long since extinct extraterrestrial society called Krypton. This wormhole machine turns out to be an entrance to the Phantom Zone, which results in a humanoid alien in a spacesuit called General Zod to emerge. Not used to the Earth's atmosphere and gravity, he arrives powerless and weak. In this interstellar conversation between the two species, the scientists and Zod are able to communicate through a translation circuit in Zod's spacesuit, converting the Kryptonian language into English and back. The alien general tells the scientist that he is from the planet Krypton, and explains that he was in charge of space exploration to find new homes for his people during Krypton's final war. He shows some holographic records projected from his spacesuit. Calculating Krypton's impending doom, Zod states that he has built pods for the people of Krypton to escape the war on Krypton. It was an intergalactic conflict between Krypton and Brainiac. Brainiac is a sentient artificial intelligence system which collects data from a given civilization, then exterminates it. No one knew where Brainiac came from, but is possibly originally made for cultural preservation. It saw the threat of Krypton's changing culture and found that the only way to preserve it is if the culture is extinct. Brainiac unleashes his robot army on Krypton after stealing enough data. During the war, the High Council believes that the Kryptonians should not retreat but instead reallocate all resources to fight Brainiac. Zod, similar to Jor-el, protests. After refusing to follow the Council's demands, Zod is imprisoned in the Phantom Zone. Zod ruefully tells the scientists that his people, the Kryptonians, went extinct to arrogance. Zod also explains the brutal experience of being imprisoned in the Phantom Zone. The same hellish second seems to repeat for years. Everything feels dark and slow. Lack of their solar system's sunlight causes seasonal affective disorder. Some prisoners in it were driven insane. The Phantom Zone freezes the captives inside, but they are still conscious. It is pure torture, never knowing if they are dead or alive. Through an emotional and hypnotic speech to complete the Earth scientist's wormhole machine in exchange for Earth to provide asylum for Zod, the scientists decide to work with him. The alien gives them diagrams on the machine and provides an energy crystal which is part of his suit as a power source. As time progresses, Zod is allowed to explore the borders outside of the military base. Although treated like a human being, he gains a lot of strange stares from fellow scientists. After the exposure to the sun's radiation, Zod realises that the non-ionized rays gives him superpowers far beyond his imaginations, which freaks him out at first but later starts to adapt to it over time. He decides to keep it a secret from the scientists. While living on Earth as a human, he sees the ugly side of humanity, which he despises, as he has never seen such barbarism on Krypton. He stops multiple crimes from occurring with his newly found powers. Kal-El's colleague, Lois Lane, starts investigating missing reporters. Most of the disappearances are linked with the research on the mysterious nuclear accelerator facility. The accelerator is fully functional, with some test trials rumoured to cause an apocalypse. With no press release and no revealed origins of the mysterious machine, Clark decides to work alongside Lois Lane to solve this mystery. Disguised as a pair of investors of the accelerator grounds, the two discover that the town with the machine built on it has a history of weird phenomena on extraterrestrial life forms, whether it be monsters or unidentified flying saucers, attacking or crashing into civilians and disappearing right afterwards. Throughout this discovery, romance begins to blossom between the two. As they realise that there is a correlation between these strange events and the proximity of the machine, the two collect samples from the accelerator's diagrams. Kal-El suggests that Lois Lane go visit her old university friends to test these samples, while Kal-El secretly heads to the Fortress of Solitude. The Fortress of Solitude's computer realises that the blueprints are based on Kryptonian design. Kal-El asks his father's consciousness about the nuclear accelerator. The results show the scientists are building a portal, which explains the extraterrestrial sightings, randomly pulled out of their world and placed into ours, and then they return. Jor-El recognises that these prototypes were originally created by General Zod, and that these tests are showing a few failed attempts in bringing something huge out of the portal. The machine is actually the Phantom Zone, used as a black hole prison. The machine's blueprints are strong enough to transport a solar system through it. During the final days of Krypton, Zod is court-martialed for failing to follow the Supreme Council's final command. This actually says a lot because the Kryptonians had turned bitter and cruel during the war, turning away from their pacifist ideals. Jor-El is not sure of Zod's intentions. As an alumni in her university, Lois Lane's professor friends support the duo reporter's hypothesis that the scientists are building a portal with no safety equipment which could lead to dangerous consequences, such as bringing an entire supernova or black hole into our solar system. After sharing these findings to multiple colleagues from different universities, they also support their discoveries. The pair of reporters write a warning piece for the local governments to dismantle the facility. This broadcast comes to the attention of the scientists of the accelerator. Realising this defamation, Zod traces the original source of the information before it spreads like wildfire. He is able to link it directly to Lois Lane. He decides to silence her, like all the other reporters before her, but is intercepted by Kal-El as Superman. After realising Superman is a Kryptonian like himself, Zod gives Kal-El a chance to bring his people back. Zod reveals that Krypton is very much alive. The Kryptonian High Council amplified the Phantom Zone's device so they could trap the entire Brainiac fleet inside, but they miscalculated and trapped Krypton along with Brainiac inside the Phantom Zone. Zod tells Superman he was court-martialed for refusing to put Krypton into the Phantom Zone. After he refused to execute the Phantom Zone command and explained his case for knowing that Krypton would be trapped in it as well, he got his rank demoted from the Supreme Commander of the Kryptonian Army to just a Frontier General. The High Council executed the command and caused Krypton to be trapped in the Pocket Dimension. Zod sees his random chance of being pulled out of the Phantom Zone as the chance to redeem himself and be a war hero to restore Krypton. Zod trusts that his calculations can leave the Brainiac army behind and bring Krypton back, but the giant planet Krypton will enter the solar system and knock Earth out of its orbit. Superman offers Zod a chance to stop and leave Earth in peace and bring Krypton back in another location, but Zod says he does not have the technology to leave. The portal he has built is only capable of being able to take things out of the Phantom Zone, and he has no other methods of travelling nor contacting Kryptonian colonies. Earth's location is the best position that parallels to Krypton's position in its solar system. Bringing Krypton in another astrological location may actually destroy Krypton. Superman rebukes that to make Earth more like Krypton doesn't necessarily have to be literal. Through inspiration, people can become Kryptonians in their own way of life. Zod sees humans as shallow and inferior savages when compared to Kryptonians, noting flashbacks on a number of crimes he has stopped on Earth, and killing the criminals on spot in disgust. Superman tells Zod that humans are similar to Kryptonians, they just need to be inspired more to have the will to act. Zod argues that although humans may look Kryptonian, they are nothing alike. He hates humans and sees Earth as a pile of garbage, ridden with these parasites. Superman offers to allow Zod to stay on Earth and live among the humans as one of them. Unwilling to neither discard his plan for reviving Krypton, nor live as a despicable human, Zod refuses. His only reason for existence is to ensure the survival of Krypton, nothing else. Zod's destiny lies with the return of Krypton, and without it, there will be no reason for Zod to exist. Zod asks Superman to be by his side and resurrect their dead society, but Superman turns down the proposal. Hoping Zod will change his mind, Superman shows Zod that what he has brought to Earth parallels what Brainiac brought to Krypton. But Zod has so little empathy for humanity that Superman's efforts on reasoning with the last of his kind fails. Seeing there is no common ground, Zod orders to activate the machine without any further testing. Without warning, the machine releases a number of Brainiac robot drones, to both Zod and Superman's surprise. Superman rushes to rescue people from burning buildings, flipped cars, falling debris, and all the horrors that have suddenly been unleashed. There are a few notable scenes where we see people helping each other and trying to save others from the disaster. While Superman is trying to prevent a building from crushing a family, he helplessly watches an old lady who is about to be smashed from falling debris, just before a young girl comes in to rescue her. We see human kindness within Zod's chaos. Before, Superman only saw official authorities rescuing humans. Now, we see typical civilians helping each other, probably inspired by Superman's earlier deeds. Once the military arrives to rescue the people, Superman heads to the accelerator. Heading to the machine, Superman is stopped by Zod. Zod tries to reason with Superman, saying that if he destroys the machine, he destroys Krypton. Superman responds that Krypton will live on, but not through bloodshed. The two fight while a storm of Brainiac robots rage in the background. But the Brainiac robots soon recognise Zod and decide to concentrate the attacks on him, identifying he is a Kryptonian general. Superman enters the machine's core and the air is starting to turn into Kryptonian atmosphere, since it is closer to Krypton, stripping him of his powers. He uses all of his mortal might, doing only what a mortal man can do best, trying to shut off the main machine without any powers. Superman is battling his own demons and self-doubt as he tries to shut off the machine. Zod returns and prevents Superman from shutting it down. As the Kryptonian atmosphere enters Earth, Zod's powers are also taken away from him. However, Zod is a competent fighter, and he uses his military training to fight Superman. The two engage in hand-to-hand combat, and after catching Zod off guard, Superman throws Zod into the Phantom Zone. As Zod tries to climb out of the portal, Superman reverses the controls, turning it on again, which sucks all of the Brainiac robots back inside. By the end of the movie, there is the reconstruction of Metropolis. Aliens are now a polarizing subject since one almost caused Armageddon, while the other is a saviour. There is a controversy as to whether the public should believe in Superman and his way of life. The events of this strengthen Superman's hope for humanity to strive onward. Perry White, the newspaper reporter, believes in Superman. He says, "Superman is the ideal balance between justice and hope. Our idea of justice is petty vengeance stuck in self-centered indulgence. This world's impartiality needs him. He is not our judge. He is our reason to revise hope into a reformation of ethics, renewed sense of morality, the Man of Steel." Note this is a play on words of steel man. A steel man is an improvement of someone's position or argument that is harder to defeat than their originally stated position or argument. Once again, a huge thank you to HunterKiller1440 for allowing me to be a part of this project. As I said at the start, I'm a huge Superman fan, so it was great reading his ideas for this, and I love to see different people's ideas of readapting and reimagining the character. You can check my YouTube channel out at youtube.com/cinemasavvy. There'll also be a link provided not just to my channel but also our Facebook and Twitter, so please head on over there, hit that subscribe button. We do movie reviews, trailer reactions with myself. We have our own original shows as well, like Battle of the Brackets, which is a really fun show, so please head on over there. And make sure you also subscribe to Hunter Killer's channel as well. Not only does he have videos like this where he expresses different ideas of how films could be put together in his How to Fix series, he also has other original content there and many different shows. Lots of content on his channel, so please hit that subscribe button for him. We'll also be working on a number of other collaborations in the future as well. Our next one planned is Batman v Superman, sticking with the DC films right now, so look out for that in the upcoming few weeks, and until next time, we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.